In Ecuador, the death toll after the latest prison massacre at the penitentiary on the coast of Guayaquil rose to 18. The military intervention worsens violence in the penitentiary. And in Turkey, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan vowed to continue supporting the Palestinian cause. In Algeria, firefighters battle a blaze that has already claimed the lives of 34 people amidst a scorching heatwave. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The number of inmates killed in the prison massacre at the penitentiary on the coast of Guayaquil increased to 18. The military's entry into the prison has intensified the violence. Ecuador's Public Prosecutor's Office also reported that 11 other inmates and a police officer are injured following the prison riot that began on Saturday. However, police officers reported on Tuesday that amid control operations at the penitentiary on the coast of Guayaquil, the death toll could rise as raids on the wards continue. The National Service of Attention to Persons Deprived of Liberty announced the release of 131 agents that were being held in several prisons. Ecuador's Minister of the Interior, Juan Zapata, made an assessment of the control operations at the coastal penitentiary.
So far, 3 wards have been taken. It has been a professional work of the armed forces and the national police because we have had no resistance due to the way they enter, even with controlled detonations, and we tell the citizens to be calm. Those detonations are made by the armed forces precisely for the entrances because the doors were very forced. Once the wards are taken and the criminals are subdued, we will begin to enter with the criminalistic units to update and verify how many dead we have there.
Community members from Quebrada and Puna gathered on Tuesday in Purmamarca to demand that the Supreme Court of Justice pronounce on the reform of the Magna Carta and the sanction of the law of community property. Members of the community traveled on Tuesday to gather on the blockade that has been maintained for more than 40 days at the access to Purmamarca. By means of a closing act, they began the third Malón de la Paz, which will end next August 1st in front of the National Congress in Buenos Aires. The slogans are the result of the short environmental criticism of the indigenous communities against the mining exploitation that is currently being developed in the Puna of Jujuy, with the approval of the provincial government and the rejection of the new constitution of Jujuy, approved last June 20th.
For years of the descendants of our grandparents, of our ancestors who left us, today all the people who are here in La Guayca, should go out to fight, to read this unconstitutional reform that was implemented in Jujuy. That is why we are going to the Supreme Court, to the Congress of the nation, to ask for justice and to claim our rights. That is our only mission in this third Malón de la Paz, which today departs from La Guayca.
In Brazil, President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva has announced that he will undergo hip surgery in October this year. In a statement during the weekly conversation with the President program, Lula expressed his motivation for the surgery. Last Sunday, the president underwent an infiltration procedure in his leg and hip area at the Syrian Lebanese hospital in Sao Paulo to mitigate the pain. However, by Monday, the discomfort had returned. Lula shared his plans to undergo another infiltration treatment as part of the preparation for the surgery scheduled for October. The surgical procedure is expected to last approximately 2.5 hours, and the progress of his recovery will depend on his commitment to post-operative physiotherapy.
I have to try to calculate well so that by mid-October I can have the surgery, if that's what I'm going to do. It is a reasonably quick surgery. It seems that you are ready in 2.5 hours. The doctor told me Friday that depending on my physical condition, I could be walking with a walker frame 3 hours later. My recovery will depend on my discipline, so I'm going to do it. While I'm recovering, Alckmin will be in charge with full peace of mind. I fully trust Alckmin. He is an extraordinary partner, and Brazil is moving forward because the gears are already turning.
Nicaragua's Minister of Development, Industry and Trade, Jesus Bermudez, and his Chinese counterpart, Wang Wentao, announced the conclusion of the free trade agreement negotiations between the two countries. Finance Minister Ivan Acosta and Presidential Advisor Laureano Ortega also participated in the video conference where the announcement was made. The representatives of the government of Nicaragua thanked the highest authorities of the Chinese government for the high priority, the attention, and the brotherly relationship between Managua and Beijing. Authorities point out that the treaty represents an exchange of goods with the objective of creating mutual benefit and eradicating extreme poverty. In Mexico, the investigation into the 43 students who disappeared in Ayotzinapa has been plagued by lies, concealment, obstacles, and contradictions on the part of the Army. This is what the interdisciplinary group of independent experts made known on Tuesday when it released its sixth and final report on the case. According to the Spanish Dr. Carlos Martín Beristain, the challenge was monumental. Beristain offered the conclusions of his work together with the Colombian lawyer Ana María Buitrago. Both are part of the expert group, which began working in 2014 and in which also lawyers from Guatemala and Chile participate. The report shows the different levels of involvement that all state corporations had in the disappearance of the young people from the municipal and state police to the federal and the army. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. All the stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. Russian President Vladimir Putin said during a video conference meeting on economic issues that inflation in the country is currently at a moderate level, but there are signals of its acceleration. The Russian president underlined the necessity of preserving stable prices, ensuring a balance between supply and demand, and raising wages in the public sector. The government is given the main position in this regard, and it is expected to contribute to the maximum possible expansion of goods and services. The head of state noted that the Russian economy will continue to grow rapidly in the near future according to a number of indicators. Putin emphasized that bank lending is one of the encouraging indications of corporate activity. President Putin added that Russia's GDP growth rate accelerated from month to month this year and that there is every reason to assume that growth will fully offset last year's decline in 2023.
At the same time, we are well aware and see the main risk of the social economic development. I recently spoke with the head of the central bank, and I share these positions. One of these risks is rising inflation. Yes, at the moment it is moderate, but there are already signs of an acceleration of inflation, due to the fact, among other things, that the supply of Russian producers lags behind demand. It is important to maintain the price stability of our economy, to ensure the balance of supplies and demand.
On Tuesday, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov hosted a trilateral meeting with his Armenian and Azerbaijani counterparts in Moscow to discuss a peace deal between the two countries. Both Armenian and Azerbaijani ministers declared their readiness to discuss all issues in a constructive manner, but showed reserve and added caution. Foreign Minister Lavrov said the three countries will continue work on organizing further meetings and plan to hold a summit in 2023. Following Tuesday's meeting, the sides agreed to make efforts to resume dialogue between civil societies and experts. Lavrov added that the Russian peacekeeping mission has every opportunity to help solve Nagorno-Karabakh's humanitarian issues. The top Russian diplomat also emphasized Russia's readiness to promote the entire array of trilateral agreements reached by the leaders of Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Russia over the past years.
Today, I would like to invite you to exchange views on where the process of negotiations on a peace treaty between Azerbaijan and Armenia is now. We are ready to help in every possible way in its coordination, using our expert potential and good relations with our friends represented here. I hope that we will discuss all these issues in a pragmatic, constructive atmosphere. I welcome you again.
Meanwhile, Azerbaijani Foreign Minister Ceyhun Bayramov said results are somewhat inferior to the high dynamics of the negotiation process itself.
the dynamics of the negotiation process are quite high. We must frankly say that the results are probably somewhat inferior to the dynamics of the negotiations process itself. But anyway, it will probably be wrong to say that there are no positive results at all, or that they do not exist today. I think that it will also be possible to exchange views and opinions on a whole range of issues. Well, traditionally, in this format, the Armenian delegation as a rule focus more on discussing the remaining articles of the peace treaty.
For his part, the Armenian foreign minister warned that the humanitarian situation would worsen if an agreement was not reached.
Unfortunately, I will note again, if we fail to find a solution and Azerbaijan does not stop the blockade of Nagorno-Karabakh, the humanitarian catastrophe of course will have its negative consequences for the negotiation process. Also, in general, I repeat again, the Armenian side is here in a constructive spirit. We will continue negotiations. Thank you.
Russia released images showing the arrival of Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Images released by the Russian Defense Ministry on July 25th showed the arrival in Pyongyang of a military delegation headed by the Defense Minister of the Russian Federation, Army General Sergei Shoigu. The video is accompanied by a statement in which the ministry says Shoigu's visit is in response to the 70th anniversary celebrations of the armistice that ended the 1950-1953 Korean War. The Russian minister was welcomed at this airport by his North Korean counterpart Kang Sun-nam. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that its troops advanced 2 kilometers in eastern Ukraine in the last 24 hours.
In the course of successful counterattack operations, the unit of the 15th Motorized Rifle Brigade under the skillful command of Lieutenant Colonel Bulov liberated the settlement of Sergivka. The total advance of our troops amounted to 4 kilometers along the front and up to 2 kilometers in depth of the battle formation of the enemy's defense.
The International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi reported on directional anti-personnel mines on the perimeter of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. On July 23rd, IAEA experts inspected the site and saw mines located in a buffer zone between the plant's internal and external perimeter barriers. The experts reported that the mines were in a restricted area that plant personnel cannot access. Grossi explained that having such explosives on the site is inconsistent with the agency's safety standards and nuclear safety guidance. Yet, IAEA experts concluded that any detonation of these mines should not affect the site's nuclear safety and security systems. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the south. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan vowed on Tuesday to continue supporting the Palestinian cause and enhance the prosperity of Palestinians. As part of the official visit of the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to Ankara, Erdogan and Abbas held one-on-one talks at the presidential complex to discuss bilateral relations, the Palestinian rule issue, and other regional and international developments. Erdogan stated that Turkey continued to support the Palestinian cause in the strongest way possible, underlining that the Palestinian issue is not receiving the attention it deserves. Erdogan highlighted the importance of engagement in the matter by the international community, particularly the UN. Ankara strongly supports a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, including the establishment of a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. For his part, Abbas expressed gratitude to Turkey for its supportive stance on the rights of Palestinians, the request for independence, and the defense of Jerusalem and holy sites.
For a long time, the Palestinian issue has not received the attention it deserves on the agenda of the international community. It is important that the international community, especially the United Nations, strongly engages in the Palestinian issue. As Turkey, we will continue raising solidarity with the Palestinian people and giving support for the Palestinian cause in the strongest way. We will continue to support all efforts to increase the security and welfare of the Palestinian people. I would like to express that the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital within the 1967 borders on the basis of the United Nations parameters is a prerequisite for the peace and stability of our entire region.
Global and cybersecurity challenges took center stage at the two-day BRICS National Security Advisors meeting in Johannesburg, which precedes the BRICS Leaders Summit to be held in South Africa in August. The meeting began with discussions between BRICS officials and friends of the economic bloc. Top Chinese diplomat Wang Yi, who also participated in the meeting, focused specifically on cybersecurity issues, detailing China's efforts to strengthen exchanges and boost cooperation with emerging markets. Wang stressed that nations should uphold fairness and justice and oppose any form of technological and cyber hegemony to create an open and inclusive cyberspace. Wang urged respect for the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and the governance models chosen by individual countries, advocating a peaceful use of cyberspace. The design of the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic torch was unveiled on Tuesday with the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris almost a year away. The torch, measuring 70 centimeters, is made of lightweight radiant steel and is distinguished by its champagne color. The lower half features a relief that mimics the movement of the River Seine, along which the opening ceremony, expected to be attended by more than 500,000 spectators, will take place. Mathieu Legeneur, the torch designer, revealed that he was inspired by three symbols of Paris 2024, equality, water, and tranquility, and declared that the torch features perfect symmetry, speaking most clearly about equality. The Paris Olympic Games are scheduled to take place from July 26 to August 11, 2024, while the Paralympic Games are planned from August 28 to September 8. In Algeria, firefighters were battling a blaze that has already claimed the lives of 34 people in that North African country on Tuesday. The flames have destroyed homes and coastal resorts and turned vast forested areas into blackened wastelands. Witnesses described fleeing from walls of flames that burned like a blowtorch, as television pictures show charred cars, burned-out stores, and smoldering fields and scrubland. Several fires have swept through mountain forests in the Kabylia region on the Mediterranean coast, fanned by winds amid scorching summer heat that peaked at 48 degrees Celsius on Monday. President Abdelmadjid Tebboune sent his condolences to the families of those killed, including 10 soldiers trapped by the flames in Beni Xela in Béjaïa province, according to the Defense Ministry. We have come to the end of this news briefing. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. Also join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.